Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About YouABQ.
Oh, that's right. It's all about YouABQ. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, and lifestyle so that you walk away with some value and feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests that you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out using our social media handle or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage Home Loan Expert.
Now, you probably recognize Grant as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team, but now he's absolutely crushing it in the mortgage game.
Where have we seen this guy? Was it HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2% producing real estate agents in the city?
Great intro. Dude, season 3, where else you want to be? Yeah. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined by the Duke City Diamondbacks. Did you know that Albuquerque has women's football?
Just more in Pandora's box.
So many things to undiscover. So many things
to disclose?
Yeah. So many things to discover in Albuquerque. Women's football, we had the women's roller derby team as well previously. Yeah. So Coach Anthoni Garcia, the Women's American Football Foundation. So this will be a learning experience for everybody. But again, a goal is just to uncover those hidden gems here of Albuquerque and provide you with some fun things to do on the weekend.
We need to go to that. We need to go to one roller derby. So the other thing that Skip and I have vowed to, even though he hasn't vowed to, but he's going to on. Is we're going to go to like some of these events this time. This is our season 3 will be like kind of a follow-up season.
We should do some more in the field stuff. So roller derby. We also have professional wrestling. We still need to check out.
Yeah.
We have a list of speakeasies that nobody knows about. We still need to go check out. And burlesque shows. I mean, shoot, we've got it. I don't know. Either way.
I don't think we can check that one out.
So Grant, man, season 3, talk a little bit about what you've been up to. You had the flu.
Yeah, so this guy was referencing a flu where he lost about 10 pounds. And I don't know if it was on camera or off camera, but he looked like he was in bad shape. And I ended up getting the same flu. So there's a bad flu going out there, and I mistook it for food poisoning because it hurt that bad. It's about 48 to 72 hour flu, and it will absolutely leave you on the floor on your bed. So wash your hands, be careful. And we're getting into the part of the season that's what they call communal situations, which people are starting to pack in buildings because the outdoor weather is no longer conducive to playing outside. So there's going to be more Thanksgivings and Christmas that are coming up, so just be careful. I would get that flu shot because they nailed it. They got the right strain. Get the flu shot, and that might prevent you from laying on the floor in front of your toilet.
So speaking of the temperature change, the seasons change, one of the cool things about Albuquerque is right along the Bosque Trail, along the Rio Grande River, this time of year, the leaves change from green to golden yellow. And so I took the kids out, and wife and I, we went for a little walk through the Bosque.
Oh, you went the dirt route, yeah. Rollerblades can't do that.
No. Yeah, we have an off-road stroller called a Bob. So we took the Bob out, 2-seater, and it's just a really cool time of year. And so we always typically do our family pictures in the area just because it's a great backdrop. And this is right in the middle of the city. And looking around, one of the cool features about Albuquerque is this is on the middle of the weekend, and we're the only people on the trail.
How do you keep your dogs to stay with you?
Train them.
I have bad dogs.
But that's the cool thing about Albuquerque, whether you're hiking in the foothills or down in the Bosque, you'll literally be the only one out. You're gonna have the whole place, the whole scenery to yourself. Versus LA, if you've ever tried to like hike to Griffith Observatory, whatever it is, it's just like 100 people.
Yeah, people just carrying their music with them with a boombox, and you're forced to hear them the whole time.
Oh, I know.
That's pretty cool. You were right. I think you should have your own mini spin-off series of off the beaten path.
Oh yeah,
that would be good because this guy gets his kids outdoors quite a bit.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, otherwise you lose your mind.
Otherwise they start fires. They discover arson.
Yeah. So a couple cool things going on in Albuquerque, but nationwide, there's let's talk about the elephant in the room. When it comes to the real estate industry, there's a big lawsuit that just happened, Sitzer Burnett against the National Association of Realtors. And before we talk about it, I want to talk a little bit about, real estate agents and real estate transactions and kind of, compensation and how it works. But so just as a buyer, before your transaction closes, your realtor will spend roughly 150 hours over 2 months evaluating deals, touring homes, writing contracts, interfacing with sellers, brokers, all on your behalf, okay? And for that services, we're paid a commission of median home sales price of about $9,000, okay? And that's split to the company as well, but about $9,000 for real estate services, which equates to, if you break it down 150 hours, you're literally making about $60 an hour, which is not bad. I mean, that's a pretty good living, I suppose. But this lawsuit that went out was kind of challenging the way that some real estate agents are compensated, saying that the National Association of Realtors is colluding for price fixing, misleading consumers, and essentially not being transparent, okay? So it was a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, found the National Association of Realtors guilty of collusion to keep commissions high and mandate cooperating, this is the big one, mandate cooperating broker compensation. And so that's the jury awarded a multi-billion-dollar judgment to the plaintiffs.
Yeah, so this one has obviously some opposition, and mostly when you get laws that are to protect the consumer, that doesn't protect the consumer, and there's some caveats in this that have arose. I don't think the average buyer or seller knows how it's supposed to go. So when they say there's collusion and
price fixing,
it's like it's an open market and people were free to conduct business how they wanted to on the seller side, distributing commissions. So I am kind of baffled by this, but again, your average consumer doesn't know what happened and still won't know what happened after this lawsuit. So it's hard to see the benefit.
Well, when there's a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit with the intent to upend an industry, at the end of the day, the consumer's the one that gets hurt, and the only one that really benefits from a huge lawsuit are the litigators at the end of the day. So there will be some changes, but there really won't be too many changes in the fact that if you look at real estate, you have options when buying and selling a home. Nobody says you have to hire a real estate agent. You can hire an attorney to review a contract, draft up a contract for you, and go through the process alone. And if you bought or sold multiple properties, you kind of understand how the process works, what to look out for, things that you need to include in your contract, title insurance, home inspections. And if you feel as though you're competent enough to handle that, you don't need me to tell you how to do it. But for the people who have a 40-hour work week, who first-time home buyers who don't know the process or don't have the time and energy to hire home inspectors, go through title reports, negotiate contracts, get into properties, show properties, that's where the real estate agent comes in. And there's various commission structures, and there always have been.
And I do think it speaks to you get paid for, there's value. And so if you want to pay less, I think you get less service and less, I guess, what would I say?
There's representation, right? So there's various options. You can have a limited service agreement wherein you can hire somebody to just put a for sale sign up, and then you as the seller can handle selling the property. Same with the buyer. You don't have to hire us, but there are different commission structures depending on what type of service you're looking for. Grant, do you know how to change your own oil?
Yes.
Does that mean that we should just get rid of mechanics in general?
Right.
The mechanic is, you're just paying the convenience fee to have somebody else,
And if you've agreed to the terms, right? You've said yes, I see what this entails, and I agreed to pay. There's more of the protect the consumer from themselves is what this really is happening, right? Because everyone's been conducting business fine so far, and if you didn't like the way real estate agents were paid, you would go sell your house yourself.
And you have the option.
And you weren't bound to use that. So this is a little bit puzzling to tell people, like, I know what's next. Telling people used car salesmen or whatever. Now that's too much of a commission. Like, where does it end, right?
So yeah. Anyway, it's a good talking point. We'll see how this unravels over the next year to 2 years. But at the end of the day, if you have questions about kind of commission structures, fees, stuff like that, be sure to reach out, join the conversation, reach out to us on social media. And again, we'll get into it at the end of the show, because that's what this skips tips at the end of the show. I'm guaranteeing you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Are we covering this? Did we talk about how much a seller typically pays out? You do that later.
There is no typical or industry standard for what seller pays or what buyer pays.
Yeah. So like traditionally, seller would take on the brunt of it. But there's also been ways where the seller says, I'm only responsible for a certain amount of a commission being paid out to the real estate agent. So again, this is quite puzzling, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Just stick with us.
Stay tuned. And again, the only people that are going to benefit from any type of mandated rule changes or from a huge judgment, a $5 billion judgment, is the litigators.
Yeah, they've gotten in the mortgage industry too. I mean, they try to revolutionize it. They try to talk about pay. All it did was cause mass confusion. And in the end, the consumer didn't end up any better or worse. Or probably worse, because the more the government gets involved in capitalism, the worse it ends up being for the consumer.
Yeah. So talk about a little bit about the home buying process, because I know that in real estate, you can have investment properties, primary residence. Talk a little bit about some recent changes when it comes to financing.
That makes me think we have a mortgage minute. So in past mortgage minutes, I have spoke about do not sell the house that you're getting out of to get into the new one. And my explanation was you want that rental income, and that rental income is forever going to be your golden egg for retirement. Now, there's been a change as of October 4th. Fannie Mae has implemented a rule that says not only do you need a lease, a deposit, and a stated amount of money that you're going to get for a year, we also are going to do an appraisal and do a rent analysis on that property. So, for instance, if I was going to sell my house and get into a new one, and I said, hey, I'm going to rent that one out for $3,500, the appraiser would have to come out and verify that $3,500 is the going rate. Now, this is an abrupt change because in the past, all you had to do was show a lease and a deposit, and now Fannie Mae has actually changed the rules. So I still stand by rent that house that you're in now, but also figure out what the common rent will be, and then that way you won't be thrown off when you go into underwriting, because that could be a huge discrepancy in income. So that's my mortgage minute.
Yeah, it's a good mortgage minute, because I think that Fannie's always, throwing out new rule changes, new underwriting guidelines, and it, can affect you, especially if you're right in the middle of a transaction, and it could cause, discrepancies in income and verification.
Yeah, so just to touch on that, what I left out is when if let's say you have a mortgage payment of $1,500 and you rent the property out for $3,000, Fannie Mae will take 75% of the $3,000 and then give you the credit for the positive cash flow, and vice versa. If your mortgage payment's $3,000, you can only get $2,000. They'll take 75% of that $2,000 and apply it. That's how they determine negative or positive cash flow. So that's I know I went pretty far into depth, but I mean this is something that I'm adding on to Old Mortgage Minute. But.
Yeah, and again, reach out to at YouABQ Podcast if you have some input or you just want to join the conversation.
Or if you want to vent about, if you think these are stupid mortgage laws, or have a question about what you think is a stupid mortgage law, or real estate traditions, hit us up too.
Here's where you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined by the Duke City Diamondbacks women's football team here in Albuquerque. Again, mind blown.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in town that we had no idea about. We're joined by Coach Anthoni Garcia, who's also a small business owner here in town, and we're going to kind of talk about his journey in Albuquerque and what we can do to help support the Duke City Diamondbacks women's football team. And then stay tuned to the end of the show. It's everybody's favorite Skip's Tips. This is the YouABQ Podcast.
Season 3.
Welcome back to Season 3 of the YouABQ Podcast. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip, real estate brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, Vision Mortgage.
Grant, did you know that there's a women's football league here in Albuquerque?
What?
We're joined today by the Duke City Diamondbacks and Coach Anthoni Garcia of the Women's American Football Foundation. So we're going to learn all about the team and kind of how they operate. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So obviously we connected over Instagram, the power of the internet. So again, if you have a cool story to tell, a business you want to share, reach out to the YouABQ Podcast, and we're happy to get you on. Let's talk about Duke City Diamondbacks. What the hell is the Duke City Diamondbacks?
It is a women's full tackle football team. Been in existence for about 6 years. We play 8-man football instead of the traditional 11. And we smaller field sometimes, depends on what the league wants us to do.
So talk a little bit more about your backstory. So you're an Army veteran, or a military veteran, So born and raised in Albuquerque?
Actually born in South Texas, Corpus Christi.
Okay.
Grew up in Phoenix, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Florida. Played high school football in Florida. And then went to Roswell Job Corps and in the military after that.
So, Julie, let's talk a little bit about you, your role with the team, and kind of your backstory as well.
So 2 years ago, I was player personnel. I'm the one who recruits people, goes out and talks to people and stuff. And then this year, I am now the treasurer and the secretary.
So that sounds like a full-time gig.
Yes, I am like his right-hand man.
Did you play any football?
No, I don't play football.
Okay.
My fiance plays for him.
Oh, okay.
So.
And then give us your backstory as well.
I started playing 2 years ago. I was 17 at the moment, and my dad recruited me because he needed more people. I watched him play since I was 8 years old. I've been on the sidelines since I was 8. Decided to go join the Army, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm skipping out this season.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're going to be missing this season and probably a couple more seasons because you're deploying in 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, about 2 months.
2 months. So you're headed out to South Carolina? Yep. You excited for that? Talk a little. I mean, you got to be having some butterflies. Because here's the thing: once you throw in the football pads, it kind of brings out the animal in you, the fight instinct.
Yes.
Is it similar to deploying right now?
It's kind of similar. They're trying to help. I'm trying to use football to help me get ready to go deploy out. I've been probably preparing this for my whole life, so I'm not really as nervous as anyone should be. I'm more excited, and good thing about it, I can come back home after 4 months in South Carolina.
Oh, well, so she's not gone for the season. What position do you play?
Center.
Center. And how old are you?
I am 19 years old.
19. So they need some young blood to fill in, right? And there's some vacancies.
Yes.
How many? You said at least 7.
Yeah, we need at least 8. It's a eight-man team.
Yeah.
So minimum of 8. We're sitting about 3 players right now. So we're still recruiting. We're rebuilding from last year. So, like Julie says, she's my right hand. Keep me in check. Make sure my mental status is not where it was last year. Make sure everything's run right, and if I get overwhelmed, I turn to her.
Where do you find the pool of talent? What's your number 1, 2, 3 go-to for finding women for the team?
Usually when I'm out and about.
Yes, when he's on dates with his wife.
Hey, you look like a great linebacker.
Yes,
I was
does,
noticing
his
your
wife
shoulders
gets
from
mad.
across the room.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what I was doing until my wife was like, enough recruiting when we're on dates. This is our time.
That's hilarious. Well, Grant's got a background in being a head coach, so he can speak to some of the mental strain and just kind of a full-time job it is to recruit and retain.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a full operation. So not only you're the coach, you're the GM, you're the marketing guy. So I know what it's like to wear a lot of hats, and it can be exhausting. By the time it gets down to coaching, you may not have much energy. So it's a good thing you have a great right-hand man to take some of that workload off.
To ask for help.
Yeah.
That's my biggest weakness.
Yes.
I would wonder if the roller derby crosses over because those would be some good candidates for each other.
A few years ago, we actually partnered with the roller derby girls, Atomic Sisters, which is the rugby girls, and then there was another team out of Santa Fe called the Rio Grande Heat, and we had the New Mexico Lightning, which was our indoor soccer women team. We did a calendar a few years ago, and it really brought some people out and helped us out. It was really fun doing the photo shoot and stuff.
Okay.
So talk more about the Duke City Diamondbacks. So where do you guys play your games?
Last year we played at C&M West. I got to renew our insurance, so once I do that, I'm still talking with Albuquerque Parks and Rec to see if we can get C&M West or where we can play at. Because unfortunately, men's semi-pro kind of put a black eye on football fields here in Albuquerque.
Wait, talk more about that. There's some drama.
There was a lot of drama back in the days when it came to men's semi-pro football. So APS won't let us use their fields.
What happened? Not to point any fingers. Be vague. You don't have to say the responsible party. But what happened?
They would trash the fields, leave cigarette butts, start fights. There was a couple incidents where people would drink on the fields, and like I said, just left a really bad taste in APS's mouth. So when I go to them and I'm like, we're different. You know, trust us, we can do better. Last year we tried to use Highland High School. They have a lovely field over there. The coach over there was going to let us use it, but APS said no. So we're like, okay. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
That'd be great to get into Milne or Wilson Stadium, right? Because that's all AstroTurf, big stadium.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah,
It would be amazing. That's hopefully we can. We've been, like I said, we've been around for about 6 years. So hopefully, showing that the partnership we have with Parks and Recreation, the fact that we don't leave our fields trash, we always clean up after ourselves. We have some great fans that come out and watch us.
Well, talk a little bit more about the league itself, because it's not just in Albuquerque, not just in New Mexico. You guys actually cover some ground to go play some games.
Yep, the Women's American Football Foundation, they are starting fresh to cover, pretty much bring women's football out to what it needs to be. There are a couple big leagues out there, but we want to put respect in women's football.
Talk about what cities are in this.
We have Virginia, Carolinas, Houston, Kansas City, Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the Women's American Football Foundation is they also partner with another league called the, can't remember the name of it, but what they're doing is they're starting an eight-man league in January, so that way by the time the season's over with, those couple of teams can move over to 11-man in the other league.
Okay. Any home dates?
Not yet. The schedule hasn't come out yet, but like I said, I've talked to Albuquerque Parks and Recreation, and they told us that they won't have fields until after our third week. So season kicks off January 27th and 28th. So about middle of February, end of February, we'll be able to get some home games here.
Good. Yeah. Scheduling's very tough. As a guy, let me tell you, recruiting and scheduling is always who matches up with what. You know, that team's already taken. Sometimes you're the last one to go throw your hat in, and people say, "Hey, we already have our schedule." So I feel for you. Scheduling is very, very hard part of coaching.
Yeah, especially when you got to use public fields. There's all kinds of different events going on as well.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about fundraising. I mean, what are some of the things that you know your team or your league has been struggling with? How can we help get the word out?
Yeah, what does it cost to play for you, and how do you come up with the money?
So because of the struggles I went through last year and burning some bridges, we decided that we're not going to have a team fee. So players can come on, show up to practice, give us the dedication. When it comes to fundraisers, we're reaching out to any businesses that's willing to either partner with us. So there's a company called Fundaxi. They partner with a lot of businesses, and we just go on there, set up a date, and post a flyer on our Instagram or Facebook, and then they take that flyer and we'll get like a portion of the sales back to us. We're also looking for businesses that's willing to sponsor us. Roughly, it takes about $10,000 to run our season. That's for travel, uniforms, equipment, insurance, the works.
How do you get all them out there on 10,000? How do you that's great. I appreciate you what you do. How do you do it?
It's rough sometimes. We put together our sponsorship packet. Last year we partnered with First Impressions. They were the ones that did our uniforms, our polo shirts. So we would make banners and stuff like that so we can hang them at our fields.
Okay.
We also do a monthly, what we want to do is a monthly business spotlight. So if a business does sponsor us, we'll mention them. Any events they do, we always share on our Facebook page, Instagram page. Anybody that sponsors us or supports us. For example, last year we also partnered with the Duke City Gladiators.
Okay. Yeah, good alliance.
And we also set up a table at one of the New Mexico Runners indoor soccer games.
Well, it sounds like you guys are very active in the community and partnering with the right people and the right stuff to at least generate some interest, but also generate some players, right? Because at the end of the day, if we don't find a few more players, this could be a pretty short season.
Yep. Yes. That's
so, Mark, do you have their Facebook page? I want to make sure we try and
give me a second.
get some video or some pictures on that.
So how do you get them? Are you gonna bus them? You're gonna bus them out there, or what? What do you think?
So
Travel's so expensive, right?
It just depends on how far the travel is.
Yeah.
When we went to Minnesota, we flew out there. When we went to Tennessee, we drove out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't go on that game. I ended up getting COVID. It was kind of heartbreaking because that was when I got inducted into the USA International Hall of Fame as a coach and owner.
That's great.
So my lovely team was the ones that accepted the award on my behalf.
That's a
great.
good moment for him.
Yeah. So I know you bounced around a bunch. You've lived in a bunch of different cities, and kind of the goal of the show is to talk a little bit. I mean, the star of the show really is Albuquerque itself. I guess we're checking out your Facebook page here. So, yeah, here comes the 2024 season. So we're gonna have links to your Facebook page so people can follow along and help donate or at least raise some awareness as well. But again, the goal of the show is to talk about Albuquerque, right? And I know you've lived in a bunch of different places growing up. Give us a little feedback on, somebody that's experienced other cities. What is it about Albuquerque that's charming? That's, why did you end up staying here in town? And how do we compare to other cities in your opinion?
Well, the reason why I stayed here was because of my kids. My ex-wife, when I got out of the military, I told her, wherever you want to go, let's go. And she's from Gallup, so that's how we ended up here. And I stayed here mainly because of my kids, and I love the view. There are some things that are family orientated, hidden gems that it's amazing that they're still here, they're around. The food's amazing. That's why I was proud to start my own business. Learned how to make my own green chili, my own red chili, so it's like, as long as you got that, you're pretty much set.
What is your primary business? I don't mind if you could.
It's Coach's Burritos.
All right. Yeah.
And right now I'm doing everything where I make everything and then I come out and deliver. So I deliver as far south as Bosque Farms, as far north as Bernalillo.
Do you have gosh, it might be too late to put that up, but that's interesting too.
Well, yeah, I was going to touch on Coach's Burritos because I think that's the heart and soul of your operation. But talk about it. So for the holiday season, do you do tamales? I would imagine. Is that a thing? I mean,
I haven't.
You guys haven't dipped into that yet?
Dipped in that.
It's not Coach's Tamales.
Yeah, it's
Coach's Burritos.
Team's Tamales.
One thing that makes us a little bit different than other places when you get a breakfast burrito is one, we just rolled out a chimichanga, breakfast chimichanga.
Oh, love it.
And then we have 3 different sizes, so you can get a small, medium, or a large. We have bacon, sausage, chorizo, Spam. You can do single meat, double meat, or triple meat. Our potatoes are fresh, so I peel them and dice them, throw them in the pan.
So how do we go about ordering? And I'm assuming we just order in bulk. If we're having a party, we'd order.
Yeah, you can order in bulk. I think the biggest order I've gotten so far is like 15 burritos. So.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, we have a website. It's called coachesburritos.com.
Coachesburritos.com. Okay. And do you have an Instagram account?
Yep. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
We'll try to pump your tires there too, because now Skip and I are always eternally hungry after the show. And when he was listing this stuff up, weren't you a little pumped up?
I was
hoping he had a little fanny pack. It was like, hey.
We actually do. You have your cards with you?
You have the rest of it.
Oh, I have it. Oh, you know what?
If you pull a burrito out of his pocket, I'm excited.
It's got a bite taken out.
Yeah,
of it.
and not only does he does dairy-free burritos, like for people who are lactose intolerant, and then he does the veggie ones too.
Okay.
Love it.
And
Can we cue in that close?
the other cool thing about us is I don't stack our ingredients. If you notice, if you open up a burrito at most places,
they go 1, 2,
they'll
3.
stack everything. I throw everything in the pan, and then the last ingredient I put down there is eggs. I actually mix everything together.
So Skip's a stacker.
Oh,
so when he ever makes
so
food,
judgy.
it just gets to like portions of it, and you go, oh, we're eating the egg section, and the chicken section, and then the rattlesnake. that's what the meats he uses. He's near the.
I'm eccentric. So listen, I think we're gonna have links to all your websites and everything else, and I appreciate you guys stopping by and sharing some knowledge with us about women's football here in Albuquerque, the Duke City Diamondbacks.
Yeah, wish you luck. You're a coach after my own heart about putting this together, and you're an entrepreneur, so you're everything I am.
Yeah, because I think in a couple months we'll have to do a car wash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we do those too.
You're talking to the car wash king here. This big turtle wax guy. Look at him.
We'll get you to come out and help us.
Yeah, I will. I've seen that movie, Dodgeball. Yeah.
Wasn't it Advanced Audio
Yeah,
Parts?
we usually do it at Advanced Auto Parts on Central and San Mateo.
Okay, man. So we'll go visit one of the games too. This year again, we've pledged to go follow up on all of our guests and go actually to their events and stuff. And this looks great. And the roller. So did we talk to the roller team? team this year?
Not this year. It's been a couple years since I've talked to
Yeah,
them.
I think that might be a good avenue. Those girls look like they're
Those
really
girls
mix
and
it up.
the Atomic Sisters, I think,
Yeah,
would be good
I think you got
partnerships.
a team lined up here, Bruce. I don't know.
Awesome, guys. Well, Anthony, thank you. I appreciate you guys all stopping by and sharing some info with us. And stay tuned to the next segment. It's everybody's favorite as we wrap up this episode. It's going to be Skip's Tips.
And boot camp for both of them.
Oh, here we go. Jokes.
Welcome back, YouABQ Season 3. It's where you want to be. Our last segment with the football team. What was the
Duke City Diamondbacks.
Duke City Diamondbacks, and I forgot the league they were in. That's where I was going with that. But I look forward to actually attending some of that. That would be women empowerment on this show. Yeah. Now we're gonna get into the much-awaited, anticipated Skip's Tips. Go for two.
Oh, that's right. It's Skip's Tips. Anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun, whether that's in real estate or real life. Are you in the market? 4 things you need to know about how a real estate agent gets compensated. First off, commissions are always negotiable. Sometimes you'll find that real estate agents will have a varying scale of what their commission fees will actually be. So have that conversation up front because commissions are always negotiable. Second, costs are always spelled out in either a listing agreement or a buyer's broker agreement. There's never any gray area when it comes to compensating your real estate agent. That conversation is had up front, and again, it's always negotiable. Number 3, for your real estate agent, there are no industry standard for commissions or services offered, whether you're getting a limited service listing or just a showing agent. Commissions can vary depending on the level of service and what you're looking for. And number 4, agent commissions are only paid once the transaction closes. So if you have a 2-month agreement with a listing agent or a buyer's broker, and for whatever reason you can't get a transaction to close, typically you don't owe that agent any compensation. Just keep in mind that as a consumer, you have opportunities and you have options when you're buying or selling a house. Be sure to negotiate all your fees up front, get everything in writing. So if you're curious about how our commission structure works or the different types of services we offer, leave a comment in the section below and I'll reach out to you personally. Oh, I share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so. Skip's Tips.
Curious about how brokers get compensated? Sure, Geraldo.
Yeah, how does it go? Sure, I used to be a heart surgeon.
Oh, if I could do that stick one time, it would be great. After every heart surgery, I was left unemployed, said Frank the cardiologist. How would you like to make money from the comfort of your own home by placing small, classified ads in newspapers across the country? Sound too good to be true?
Sure.
I thought so too. Geraldo.
And if you have no idea what we're talking about,
welcome to Season 3, because neither do we.
It's the YouABQ podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in again every Wednesday night, Sunday mornings here on the Education Channel, or worldwide at the YouABQ podcast.
And home of the new burrito source from Coach's Burritos, but Season 3.
Thanks for tuning in. This is the YouABQ podcast.
Making no sense.